Hello, hello. Michelle here from Sensate Soul and the Soul Translator. And today in this video we're going to talk about the challenge that a lot of empaths and sensitives have around making decisions, commitments, and surrendering ourselves to those decisions and commitments. So, this whole idea was prompted by so many things with working with the wonderful empaths and HSPs like you, like me. And I was working with somebody the other day who was in a really tough place and really resentful around being an HSP. And she said at one point, rather excruciatingly, painfully, emotionally, that she did not choose to be born this way, and that she resented having to go through life not only having to take care of her own emotional world and being aware of that, but then also being that, with and for so many other people, and that it felt like a really big burden, and she really resented it. And this is not uncommon. I know I have felt that. I know that it can feel that way for many of us, because if you think about it, it's like, here's another example, actually. A good friend of mine was born with a brain disability, and we've had many conversations around, although he has done so much to accept the circumstances and to make the best of it, and he has in many ways, but there's still this edge of frustration that is pretty much, his, experience in the world around not being able to do so many of the basic things that a lot of us, take for granted. So although many of us are born with situations, physically, mentally, different things that are part of our life experience, it doesn't mean that there's not a part of us that can't feel the frustration around accepting that. And, if you think about it, so much of us, we're doing our personal work and our spiritual growth and our mindset changes, and, we're becoming the best version of ourselves that we can be. And in that process, imagine all the things that are just kind of conditioned, that we take on from our family, from our experiences. And, a lot of spiritual growth is being able to unwind ourselves from a lot of that conditioning. And we can feel frustrated with those things that feel like we have to work through them and surrender and heal and accept and move forward. But imagine if it is these kinds of things that are just not really changeable, like being born with a disability, or having a highly sensitive nervous system, being deeply empathic, being an empath. And this is not something that we can change. It's something that we learn to live with. So how this relates to decisions and commitment is, I find a lot of us empaths and sensitives will feel this kind of like victim kind of mentality. And I say this with love. This is in no way a judgment, because sometimes when we deal with things that we're born with, and we have situations that are unchangeable, and we need to learn to surrender and accept them and do all of that, there can be that feeling of being out of control, of resenting that thing. And those are the things that we, learn to live with. That's like the grist for the mill of our spiritual growth and our personal growth. So this is not unusual to feel this, but it doesn't mean necessarily then that it rules your life. So for a lot of empaths and HSPs, this feeling of like, wait a second, I didn't choose to be born this way. I didn't choose to, discover that I was this way through trauma, or, this is not what I asked for, can give that feeling of being, out of control, of not being part of the decision. So this is all human nature, to feel this resistance and to push back on things that aren't necessarily easy, or they may make more challenges for us. Remember, there's always that blessing within the challenge, and it makes you who you are, and that's the big part of the journey, is becoming more of that. But anyway, so this idea of making a decision, and also for a lot of empaths, that can be challenging because many of us have been raised in situations where we felt, there was addiction, we felt like the odd man out, we felt like the black sheep, and we didn't have as much of the power. So here's a little mindset hack around decisions that can be really, really helpful. Instead of saying that you have to decide on something, because that can be so overloaded, and there can be a lot of pressure in that, make it a choice. Take back that power of making choices and take the decision kind of energy out of it, because a decision can be super mental. It's like this or that, black or white. You have this or you don't have that. In fact, the word itself comes from Latin decidere, which means to cut off. And it can be very challenging for HSPs and empaths to make decisions, to work with that energy. Not that we can't, but it can be challenging because by nature we don't like to cut things off, abandon things, get rid of all of the possibilities, because we're very open and receptive to a lot of different possibilities and different ways of being, different expression. Being empathic means that you are open and receptive. But making a choice really matters, because then the energy has a channel to go to. So maybe think of it as like choice is a CH and a channel as a CH word, so that the energy has a way to move. And the choice is really empowering because it means more, instead of deciding and cutting something off, it gives you that, like, in this moment, this is what I'm choosing. And it gives you more of that feeling of empowerment of, instead of having to choose something, this either or, this is what I'm choosing right this minute, right now. So that's a really simple way. And believe me, it really works when you start empowering your power of choice more than having to focus on, well, I've got to decide on what's this or what's that. I've got to decide on what's right or what's wrong. No, how about I choose this now, and that's the choice I am making. So there we go, a quick way to be able to work with the pressure of decisions that we can all feel sometimes, and to reclaim your power of choice, which is always available for you. And you can also reclaim and choose your power of empathy and being an HSP, because you are a beautiful change agent, you are a beautiful healer and visionary, and we need you. And this planet really needs your beautiful skills and ways to be able to connect. So if you would like more help in mindsets and being an HSP and empath, also an empreneur, a creative empathic entrepreneur, come on over to Sensate Soul. And also tell me what you think about this topic. So please do leave a comment, share it with a friend, and give it a like. Subscribe if you find it on my YouTube channel. And so much love. See you in the next video. Okay, bye.